Hello? Hello, George?
Morgus!
George Morgus in New Orleans.
How are you?
Oh, George, am I glad to get to you. You know, our telephones were all down through the hurricane, and of course we've got it all fixed up now, and I'm really moving along with this lab now, George.
Oh, thank God. You know, we talked to you briefly after Katrina, but your phone went out, and we didn't know what happened to you. So you're okay, and your family's okay?
Oh, George, listen, everybody, Chopsey's right here, Dr. Chopsey's here, and Eric, everybody's in good shape here. You know, George, we didn't evacuate over there, because I'll tell you why. The city, you know, had a mandatory evacuation, but there's no way I would ever leave this lab, George. You know what's in here.
What is there?
Oh, you know, George, come on, you know, some secret stuff we talked about. And graduate, you know, everybody would like to get in here. This is why we've got to stay here and protect it. I tell you, no, and besides, I'm probably the only building in New Orleans that had electricity and utilities 24/7, you know.
Well, I'm glad they're rebuilding. I'm glad you're rebuilding. And now you were in the city ice house, right?
Yeah.
What happened to that?
Well, which one, George? What was that?
Weren't you in the ice house?
Well, absolutely. You know, this has been here about 200 years. It was an old tanning factory. Used to make alligator skins and muskrats, you know. But back in the late 1800s, it became one of the first ice houses in the South. And of course, we got a hold of it in the 50s here. Well, you were in Detroit at that time.
Yes. Watching you on television.
That's right, sir. Listen, this was fantastic. Imagine us getting together. But George, listen, I've got something. Why I called you is, you don't know it, but I need that audience of yours to know what we're doing here in New Orleans. George, I've come up with something. You know, I've been working with, all kind of microbiology. I've been working with all of the molecular designs for new inventions, and now I've got something, George, that's just going to break your heart. We have, right here in the lab, George, I was working with subatomic particles, and get this, George.
What did you uncover?
Listen, I have moved solid molecules across this building. George, I have moved myself with solid molecules through this machine. Chopsey, get away from the machine. I have moved myself out of this room where I am now into a room down the hallway. Electronically, George.
You tell us.
I just wanted your people there to know that I could do this. Chopsey, get away. Not yet. Well, all right, Chopsey. Let's do it for George here. Don't press that button. Press the other button. Press it. Go ahead. That's it.
What's going on?
I'll tell you what's going on. I'm in your studio, George. I'm in your studio now, George.
The real Morgus is here. Get over here. How did you do that?
I tell you, George, this has been a thrill.
You guys were in on this.
The whole bunch were in on this, George. Let me tell you, you had Tom, you had Steve, you had Lisa, you had Craig, the kitchen, you had Trevor, Oliver, and the whole gang in this building. They love you, George.
This is incredible.
They brought me here in a company jet.
Are you kidding me?
Absolutely. Private jet all the way here, George.
They've never flown me in the company jet.
They haven't shown you the company jet, have they?
No, not at all.
Well, you don't want to, George. They stopped in Tijuana with me. I mean, it was wonderful. But they did it all for you, George. You know why? Because they knew you were going to be leaving for Christmas, and they wanted to give you a little Christmas early and a surprise they thought you might appreciate. Have your old friend from Detroit come here
gift.
45 years later to see you again.
This is incredible.
You
talk about surprise. What are the odds of coming up with a surprise hotline?
These guys
I had no idea.
These guys did it, you know what, and I tell you what, I was going to bring something here for them, but the transformation, of course, was just incredible. Just coming here like this, and of course, your audience knows that we just pulled a little trick on you here, that I really didn't transport myself like that.
I've got to tell you, we have such heavy security, and to see you come bolting into the studio, kind of shocked the heck out of me.
Well, George, have I changed?
Actually, you look younger.
I do? Oh, my gosh, no wonder. Well, that must be the new treatment I'm on. But, George, I tell you what, just being here and seeing the studio you guys work out of is really something incredible.
It's a little different than the Ice House, isn't
Well,
it?
I tell you that's for sure thing, and I'm sure the rent is a little higher, too.
George, what do you think?
Well, let me put it this way. If I could get everyone listening to this program to get on the same level I am on, and I know this sounds like braggadocio to some people, but, take it as it will. But, friends, I can guarantee you can use the mind to do wonderful things. George, you more than anyone know the psychokinesis thing,
Absolutely.
I mean, guys, I tell you what, the astronaut Edgar Mitchell?
I know him real well. He's been on the program several times.
Oh, really?
Dear friend.
Well, has he talked about this?
Yes, he has.
I tell you that.
A wonderful guy.
You know that the mind has unbelievable potential. And I can tell you right now, if you were smart, George, really smart, if you were up in my level, now I'm not putting you down. I'm not putting you down, George, but listen to this. I want these people
Not
to hear
many
this.
people are up to your level.
Well,
As
intellectually,
much as we might try.
intellectually, I've got to say that because I've got to let them know that there's a chance for everyone to get up there with me, friends. You see, when you're at my intellect, you cannot do violent things. When you go back the years, we're going back to the hominins. You know what a hominin is,
Yeah.
We're talking about people that lived 18 million years ago. They were throwing rocks at each other. What are they doing over here in France tonight? They're still throwing rocks. George, an intelligent person like myself wouldn't do that. If a mugger came up to me right now and said, fella, I'm going to give it to you in the face, you know what? He couldn't hurt me, George. He could not hurt me. You know why?
Why?
I have mind control, George. I can control his mind. I can stop him in his tracks. Now, George, you're going to witness this. I'm in your studio tonight.
Yes, you are.
I'm going to do it. Before we leave, I want you to come up to me and you try to take a punch at me.
I can't take a swing at you. And I know you want me to, and you think you can stop my arm in mid-motion, but...
Well, I could do it, George. It's you have to put yourself in what we call a precognition mood. What we're doing is we're going into abilities just like you have telepathy or we have clairvoyance. I have mind control. And once you put this precognition state into your body, which I can do just like snapping a finger, it's amazing what happens, George, with the mind being able to control. It's like putting waves through the air. You won't feel it until you try to hit me. And then you stop. You can't do it. I'm walking up to you right now. Now look, don't get frightened now. You're my buddy. Nothing's going to happen to me.
Okay.
Nothing's going to happen to me. All right.
I would kick myself for the rest of my life.
I want you to give me the best you've got, George. Okay? Swing back. You ready? 1, 2. Well, put it right here against the cheek. Go ahead. Hit it. Go ahead.
You ready?
Ready. Go ahead.
Oh, gosh.
Well, George. Oh, well, that's it. I didn't want it. Hand me the. You have a handkerchief?
Unbelievable.
Oh, gosh, this is embarrassing.
You assured me
Yeah, well,
this would work.
George, I'm in a different atmosphere around here. This place, you got black walls and you got kind of Craig lights. I mean, why do you have it so moody in here?
I feel so rotten.
Gosh.
You okay?
I'm okay. I think my tooth, I only have 4 teeth, George. I think you're losing one of them. Well, don't worry about it, George. We're still friends forever. Don't worry about it. I'll fix it, George. Boy. Well, anyway,
every experiment you do, George, something goes wrong.
George, I think it's the lighting in here. I honestly believe it is. This is embarrassing, and I know people will fall out of love for me, but I tell you, friends, it has a great deal to do.
I just want to make sure you're okay.
Oh, I'm perfectly fine, George. No, everything's fine.
I bet you have many teeth left anyway.
Everything's fine. No, all 4 of them are okay. But nonetheless, it's such a surprise to have the opportunity to try something in front of the whole world here and have a little discrepancy take.
Millions of listeners.
Oh, listen, I
Maybe more
don't
than
hold
your
it in.
TV show.
Well, I would not hold this against you, George, and I hope people that heard this will just... In fact, you know what? I can make them forget it, George. I have to...
No more experiments.
No, but I don't want them to remember this tomorrow.
No, they may forget everything, and we don't want that to happen.
May permeate the whole show.
That could be. Dr. Morgus, my boyhood idol, one of the reasons I still do what I do. Here's UFO Film. Coming up.